Do you ever feel frustrated with yourself? You set goals with excitement and determination, but then life gets in the way. You promise yourself you'll exercise tomorrow, but tomorrow becomes next week. You swear you'll stop checking your phone every 5 minutes, but you find yourself scrolling mindlessly again and again. You want to learn new skills, save money, or build better relationships, but you keep falling back into the same old patterns. If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. Millions of people around the world struggle with the same problem. They know what they should do, but they can't seem to make themselves do it consistently. They feel stuck, disappointed, and sometimes even ashamed of their lack of self-control. The pain is real. Every time you give up on a goal, a small part of you loses confidence. Every time you choose the easy path instead of the right path, you feel a little worse about yourself. Over time, this pattern can lead to anxiety, regret, and a sense that you're not living up to your potential. But here's the good news. Today, you're going to learn how to break free from this cycle once and for all. Welcome to Fluent English with Radio, where we help you improve your English while discovering powerful strategies for personal growth. Today, we're going to explore how to build discipline, the one skill that can transform every area of your life. I'll share with you 8 proven strategies that will help you develop unbreakable self-control and finally achieve the goals that matter most to you. So stay with me until the end, because discipline isn't just about willpower, it's about freedom. Why is discipline important? Before we dive into the strategies, let me share something that might surprise you. Research shows that people with self-discipline are actually happier than those without it. This might seem counterintuitive. After all, discipline sounds like work, sacrifice, and giving up the things you enjoy. But here's why disciplined people are happier. Discipline is the bridge between goals set and goals accomplished. It's what turns your dreams from wishes into reality. When you have discipline, you actually achieve the things you care about. You see real progress in your life. You experience the deep satisfaction that comes from keeping promises to yourself. People without discipline live in a constant state of internal conflict, always feeling like they're letting themselves down. But disciplined individuals enjoy peace of mind because they know they can trust themselves to follow through on their commitments. A famous study conducted by psychologist Walter Mischel at Stanford University, known as the marshmallow experiment, revealed the incredible power of self-discipline. Children who could delay gratification and wait for a second marshmallow instead of eating one immediately showed better academic performance, healthier body mass indexes, and lower rates of substance abuse decades later. This research proves that discipline early in life creates lasting benefits that compound over time. Think about Oprah Winfrey, one of the most successful media personalities in history. She didn't become successful by accident. She built her empire through incredible discipline. Every morning, she wakes up early to meditate and exercise. She reads constantly to expand her knowledge. She prepares thoroughly for every interview and show. Oprah grew up in poverty, faced numerous challenges, and could have easily given up on her dreams. But she understood that discipline was her pathway out of difficult circumstances. She consistently chose long-term thinking over short-term pleasure, even when it was hard. Oprah once said, "The biggest adventure you can take is to live the life of your dreams." But she also knows that dreams without discipline remain just dreams. Her daily habits and consistent actions are what turned her vision into reality. Another powerful example is Benjamin Franklin, one of America's founding fathers and most accomplished individuals. Franklin created a system for building discipline that he used throughout his life. He identified 13 virtues he wanted to develop, including temperance, order, and industry. Each week, he focused on improving one specific virtue while tracking his progress daily. Franklin's approach demonstrates that discipline isn't about perfection, it's about continuous improvement. He didn't expect to master all 13 virtues overnight. Instead, he developed them gradually through focused attention and consistent practice. Discipline reduces anxiety because when you know you can count on yourself, you feel more confident and in control. You stop worrying about whether you'll be able to handle challenges because you know you have the inner strength to push through whatever comes your way. Scientific studies have found that people with higher self-control report greater life satisfaction, better relationships, and improved mental health. They experience less stress because they're not constantly battling against their own impulses. Instead, they channel their energy toward meaningful goals and positive outcomes. Neuroscientist Dr. Kelly McGonigal's research at Stanford shows that self-control is like a muscle that can be strengthened through practice. Brain imaging studies reveal that people who regularly practice self-discipline actually develop stronger prefrontal cortex regions, the area responsible for executive function and decision-making. This means that building discipline literally changes your brain structure, making future acts of self-control easier and more automatic. The more you practice discipline, the more natural it becomes. Now, let's explore the 8 strategies that will help you build this life-changing skill. Strategy 1. Know your strengths and weaknesses. The foundation of building discipline starts with brutal honesty about yourself. Self-awareness is a powerful tool for growth, but it requires constant focus and acknowledging your shortcomings, whatever they may be. You cannot overcome weaknesses that you refuse to acknowledge. Most people either try to pretend their vulnerabilities don't exist, or they give up completely, saying, "Oh well, that's just who I am." But successful people think differently. They study themselves like scientists studying a subject. They want to understand exactly how they work, what triggers their bad habits, and what conditions help them succeed. Consider the story of Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple. Early in his career, he realized he was naturally introverted and sometimes struggled with public speaking. Instead of avoiding these situations, he forced himself to practice and improve. He knew that leadership required strong communication skills, so he worked deliberately to develop them. At the same time, Cook recognized his strengths. He was exceptional at operations, logistics, and strategic thinking. He focused his energy on these areas while continuously working on his weaknesses. This combination of self-awareness and targeted improvement helped him become one of the most respected leaders in the tech industry. To develop this self-awareness, you need to ask yourself some uncomfortable questions. What are your biggest temptations? When do you tend to give up or make excuses? What patterns do you notice in your behavior when things get difficult? Start by keeping a simple journal for 1 week. Write down when you succeed at your goals and when you struggle. Notice the circumstances around both situations. Do you work better in the morning or evening? Are you more likely to stick to your commitments when you're well rested or when you're tired? Do certain people or environments make it easier or harder for you to stay disciplined? Maybe you're great at starting projects but terrible at finishing them. This could mean you need to break large goals into smaller milestones to maintain momentum. Maybe you work well under pressure but struggle with routine tasks. This suggests you might benefit from creating artificial deadlines or adding accountability partners. Remember, having weaknesses doesn't make you a failure. Everyone has areas where they struggle. The difference between successful and unsuccessful people is that successful people face their weaknesses honestly and create strategies to overcome them. Once you understand your patterns, you can design your approach to work with your natural tendencies rather than against them. This makes building discipline much easier and more sustainable. Strategy 2. Remove temptations. Here's a simple truth that most people ignore. Your environment shapes your behavior more than your willpower. If you want to build discipline, you need to design your surroundings to support your goals, not sabotage them. The famous writer Oscar Wilde once said, "I can resist anything except temptation." This might sound funny, but it reveals an important truth. Temptation is powerful, and constantly fighting it is exhausting. The smarter approach is to remove temptations from your environment whenever possible. Just by removing the biggest temptations from your environment, you will greatly improve your self-discipline. It's like the saying goes, out of sight, out of mind. If you want to eat healthier, throw out the junk food. Don't keep ice cream in your freezer and then try to resist it every day. That's not discipline, that's torture. Instead, fill your kitchen with healthy options that make good choices easy and automatic. If you want to focus better at work, turn off social media notifications and put your phone in another room. Don't rely on willpower to ignore the constant pings and alerts. Remove the distraction completely so your brain can concentrate on important tasks. If you want to save more money, unsubscribe from promotional emails that tempt you to buy things you don't need. Delete shopping apps from your phone. Make it harder to spend impulsively and easier to save by setting up automatic transfers to your savings account. When Jerry Seinfeld was building his career as a comedian, he had a simple system for writing jokes consistently. He hung a large calendar on his wall and put a red X over each day that he wrote new material. His goal was to never break the chain of X's. But here's the key. He kept that calendar in a place where he would see it every day. His environment constantly reminded him of his commitment. Environmental design works because it reduces the number of decisions you have to make each day. Every time you have to choose between a good option and a bad option, you use up mental energy. By removing bad options from your environment, you preserve that energy for more important decisions. Research shows that people make thousands of decisions every day, and each one depletes their mental resources slightly. This is called decision fatigue. By designing your environment to make good choices automatic, you avoid decision fatigue and maintain stronger self-control throughout the day. The fewer distractions you have, the more focused you will be on accomplishing your goals. Set yourself up for success by designing an environment that makes good choices easier and bad choices harder. Strategy 3. Set clear goals and have an execution plan. You must have a clear vision of what you hope to accomplish. After all, if you don't know where you're going, it's easy to lose your way or get sidetracked. But here's where most people make a mistake. They set vague goals like get in shape or be more productive. These goals are so general that they provide no real direction. It's like trying to navigate with a broken compass. Successful people set specific, measurable goals with clear deadlines. Instead of get in shape, they say lose 20 pounds in 4 months by exercising 4 times per week and following a meal plan. Instead of be more productive, they say complete 3 important tasks every morning before checking email. A clear plan outlines each step you must take to reach your goals. It removes guesswork and eliminates the mental energy wasted on deciding what to do next. Look at Elon Musk, the founder of Tesla and SpaceX. He's famous for setting incredibly ambitious goals, but he always breaks them down into specific, actionable steps. When he decided to revolutionize the car industry with electric vehicles, he didn't just say, "Make better cars." He set specific targets for battery range, charging time, production volume, and cost reduction. Musk's approach demonstrates the power of reverse engineering your goals. Start with your ultimate objective, then work backward to identify every step required to get there. This creates a roadmap that guides your daily actions and keeps you moving in the right direction. Create a mantra to keep yourself focused. Successful people use this technique to stay on track, emotionally connect to their mission, and establish a clear finish line. Your mantra might be something like, "I am building the body I deserve through consistent daily action," or "I am creating financial freedom by saving 20% of every dollar I earn." Write your goals down and review them regularly. Studies show that people who write down their goals are significantly more likely to achieve them than those who keep goals only in their heads. Put them somewhere you'll see them every day. Visual reminders are powerful motivators that keep you connected to your purpose when motivation fades. But don't just write down the end result, write down your why as well. Why is this goal important to you? How will achieving it improve your life? What will happen if you don't achieve it? Connecting emotionally to your goals makes it much easier to stay motivated during difficult times. Break large goals into smaller milestones that you can achieve within 30 to 90 days. This gives you regular opportunities to celebrate progress and maintain momentum. Each small victory builds confidence and proves to yourself that you can follow through on your commitments. Strategy 4. Practice daily diligence. Self-discipline is not something you're born with. It's a learned behavior like riding a bicycle or playing an instrument. And just like any other skill you want to master, it requires daily practice and repetition. We aren't born with self-discipline. It's a muscle that grows stronger with use. But here's the challenge. The effort and focus that self-discipline requires can be draining. As time passes, it can become more and more difficult to keep your willpower in check. This is why daily practice is so important. When you practice discipline consistently, it becomes habitual. What once required tremendous effort becomes automatic. Think about brushing your teeth. You don't have to force yourself to do it every morning. You don't need motivation or willpower. It's just a habit that happens naturally. This is what discipline can become in other areas of your life. Michael Jordan, widely considered the greatest basketball player of all time, wasn't the most naturally talented player on his high school team. In fact, he was cut from the varsity team as a sophomore, but Jordan had something more valuable than natural talent. He had discipline. Every day, Jordan practiced longer and harder than his teammates. He arrived early and stayed late. He worked on his weaknesses until they became strengths. This daily diligence is what transformed him from an average high school player into a global icon. Jordan understood that extraordinary results come from ordinary actions performed consistently over time. He didn't try to improve everything at once. Instead, he focused on getting slightly better each day through deliberate practice. Another powerful example is Stephen King, one of the world's most successful authors. King has written over 60 novels and 200 short stories, but his success didn't happen overnight. He built his career through daily diligence and unwavering discipline. King sets a goal to write 2,000 words every single day, including holidays and weekends. He doesn't wait for inspiration or the perfect mood. He shows up at his desk every morning and writes, regardless of how he feels. This consistent daily practice has made him one of the most prolific and successful writers in history. King once said, "Amateurs sit and wait for inspiration, the rest of us just get up and go to work." This mindset separates professionals from amateurs in every field. Professionals understand that motivation is unreliable, but discipline is dependable. The key insight here is that discipline becomes easier when you practice it regularly. Your brain creates neural pathways that make disciplined behavior more automatic. Each day you practice, you strengthen these pathways and make future acts of self-control easier. So work on building your self-discipline through daily diligence in a specific area associated with your goals. If your goal is to write a book, write for 30 minutes every day, no matter what. If your goal is to get stronger, do some form of exercise every day, even if it's just push-ups for 5 minutes. The key is consistency, not intensity. It's better to do something small every day than to do something big once in a while. Small daily actions compound over time and create remarkable results. Put it on your calendar, your to-do list, or set a daily reminder on your phone. Make discipline a non-negotiable part of your daily routine. Treat it like an appointment with yourself that you cannot cancel or postpone. Track your progress visually. Use a simple calendar or app to mark each day you successfully complete your disciplined action. Seeing your streak of consecutive days creates momentum and makes you reluctant to break the chain. With practice, anyone can push the boundaries of their comfort zone every single day. The discipline muscle gets stronger each time you use it, making future challenges easier to handle. Strategy 5. Create new habits and rituals. Building self-discipline and working to instill a new habit can feel overwhelming at first, especially if you focus on the entire task at hand. Your brain sees the massive change you want to make and immediately feels intimidated. To avoid this feeling, keep it simple. Break your goal into small, manageable steps. Instead of trying to change everything at once, focus on doing one thing consistently and master self-discipline with that goal in mind. As researchers have found, it's easier to build one strong habit than to juggle multiple weak ones. When you try to change too many things simultaneously, you spread your mental energy too thin and increase the likelihood of failure. If you're trying to get in shape but don't exercise regularly, start by working out just 10 or 15 minutes a day. This seems so easy that you can't say no. Once this becomes automatic, you can gradually increase the time. If you're trying to achieve better sleep habits, start by going to bed just 30 minutes earlier each night. If you want to eat healthier, start by changing your grocery shopping habits and preparing one healthy meal each day. Take baby steps. Eventually, when your mindset and behavior start to shift, you can add more goals to your list. The key is to make the initial habit so small and easy that failure becomes almost impossible. James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, started his writing career by committing to publish one article every Monday and Thursday. He didn't try to write a book immediately. He didn't set a goal to write for hours every day. He just focused on publishing 2 articles per week. This small habit built momentum. Over time, Clear's audience grew, his skills improved, and his confidence increased. Eventually, this tiny habit led to millions of readers and a best-selling book. But it all started with a commitment so small that it seemed almost trivial. The secret is that small habits compound over time. They build on each other, creating powerful momentum that carries you toward your goals. Start small, stay consistent, and trust the process. Habits work by creating neural pathways in your brain. The more you repeat a behavior, the stronger these pathways become. Eventually, the behavior becomes automatic and requires very little conscious effort. Research suggests it takes anywhere from 18 to 254 days to form a new habit, with an average of 66 days. The exact time frame depends on the complexity of the habit and your individual circumstances. But the important thing is to start and maintain consistency. Even if progress seems slow at first, design your habits to stack onto existing routines. For example, if you want to start meditating, do it right after you brush your teeth in the morning. If you want to read more, read for 10 minutes before your lunch break. This technique, called habit stacking, makes new behaviors easier to remember and implement. Strategy 6. Change your perception about willpower. Most people believe they have a limited amount of willpower, like a battery that drains throughout the day. They think that once they use up their self-control, they're helpless until it recharges. This belief becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you believe you have limited willpower, you probably won't surpass those limits. But what if you could change that perception? What if you could develop unlimited willpower by changing how you think about it? When we embrace the mindset of unlimited willpower, we continue to grow, achieve more, and develop mental toughness. It's the same philosophy as setting stretch goals. In short, our internal beliefs about willpower and self-control can determine how disciplined we actually are. We all have urges to avoid things that are difficult or uncomfortable. We want to stay in our comfort zones where everything feels safe and familiar, but growth happens outside your comfort zone. Progress requires discomfort. Here's a powerful technique to build your willpower muscle. Set a timer and permit yourself to do nothing but one specific task. For example, for the next 20 minutes, you can do nothing but work on your project, exercise, or study. When you have the urge to procrastinate or run to distractions, you have only two choices: do the task or sit there and do nothing. This makes you more aware of your urges to escape and avoid challenges. You start to see these urges for what they really are, just thoughts and feelings that you don't have to follow. The famous writer Raymond Chandler used this as his simple writing system: write or nothing. He would sit at his desk for a set amount of time and either write or do absolutely nothing else. No reading, no organizing, no checking email, just writing or sitting in silence. This technique works because it forces you to confront your resistance directly. You realize that the urge to quit or procrastinate is just a temporary feeling, not a command you must obey. Many successful people have discovered that discomfort is not something to avoid, but something to embrace. When you learn to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, you develop the ability to persist when others would quit. Think of discomfort as a signal that you're growing. Just like muscles grow stronger when they're challenged with resistance, your discipline grows stronger when you push through discomfort instead of avoiding it. When you change your perception about willpower from limited to unlimited, you give yourself permission to keep going when others would quit. You develop mental toughness that serves you in every area of life. Strategy 7. Get support and accountability. One of the biggest mistakes people make when trying to build discipline is thinking they have to do it alone. They feel embarrassed about their struggles and try to hide their challenges from others. But this isolation makes everything harder. You don't have to face this journey by yourself. You have family, friends, and even strangers online who can help you. Form a support team by reaching out to the people around you and asking for their help. The development of expertise requires coaches who are capable of giving constructive, even painful, feedback. Real experts are extremely motivated students who seek out such feedback. They're also skilled at understanding when and if a coach or mentor's advice works for them. Think about any elite athlete or performer. They all have coaches, trainers, and support teams. They don't try to figure everything out on their own. They surround themselves with people who can help them improve faster and avoid common mistakes. Think about any elite athlete or performer. They all have coaches, trainers, and support teams. They don't try to figure everything out on their own. They surround themselves with people who can help them improve faster and avoid common mistakes. You can create accountability in several ways. Find a workout partner who expects you to show up at the gym. Join an online group focused on your goal. Hire a coach or mentor. Tell your family and friends about your commitments and ask them to check on your progress. Research shows that people who share their goals with others and provide regular updates are significantly more likely to achieve them. The simple act of knowing that someone else is watching creates positive pressure that helps you stay on track. Many people skip this step because they're embarrassed by their lack of discipline. They feel that their struggles are shameful. But here's the truth: we all struggle with these things. When you show your vulnerable side to people, they actually love you more, trust you more, and relate to you more. Accountability partners serve multiple important functions. They provide encouragement when you feel like giving up. They offer perspective when you're too close to a problem to see it clearly. They celebrate your wins and help you learn from your setbacks. Choose accountability partners who genuinely want to see you succeed. Avoid people who might sabotage your efforts or make you feel bad about your goals. Surround yourself with positive, supportive individuals who believe in your ability to change and grow. Find the courage to ask for help. Then let yourself be supported as you work on building discipline and creating the life you want. Support and accountability can be the difference between giving up and pushing through when things get tough. Strategy 8. Forgive yourself and move forward. Even with all your best intentions and well-planned strategies, you will sometimes fall short. You will have days when you don't follow through on your commitments. You will make mistakes and face setbacks. This is not a sign of failure. It's a sign that you're human. The key is to keep going. Don't let temporary setbacks become permanent defeats. Don't let one bad day turn into a bad week or a bad month. As a disciplined person, you shouldn't beat yourself up for past mistakes. Instead, acknowledge what went wrong, learn from it, and move forward. Mistakes are learning opportunities. They provide valuable information about what works and what doesn't. Understand that nobody's perfect. Be kind to yourself and know that you can do better next time. Self-compassion actually helps you bounce back faster from setbacks. When you treat yourself with kindness instead of harsh criticism, you're more likely to get back on track quickly. Consider the story of Thomas Edison, one of history's greatest inventors. He failed thousands of times before successfully creating the light bulb. When asked about his failures, Edison famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Many Navy SEALs use a powerful technique when they face setbacks during training. Instead of dwelling on what went wrong, they immediately ask themselves one simple question: what can I learn from this? This mindset shift transforms every failure into a learning opportunity and keeps them moving forward. When you stumble, find the root cause by asking yourself why it happened, then move on. Don't let yourself get wrapped up in guilt, anger, or frustration, because these emotions will only drag you further down and prevent future progress. Perfectionism is the enemy of progress. Many people give up completely after one mistake because they believe they've ruined everything. But success isn't about being perfect, it's about being persistent. Develop a quick recovery protocol for when you slip up. First, acknowledge what happened without judgment. Second, identify what led to the setback. Third, adjust your approach to prevent similar problems in the future. Fourth, immediately take one small action to get back on track. Learn from your mistakes, forgive yourself, and get back to work. The only real failure is giving up completely. As long as you keep trying, you're still on the path to success. Start building your disciplined life today. Building discipline is not about becoming a robot or eliminating all joy from your life. It's about gaining the freedom to create the life you truly want. It's about becoming someone you can count on, someone who keeps promises to themselves, someone who turns dreams into reality. Discipline is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. Start small, be consistent, and trust the process. Use the 8 strategies we've discussed today, and you'll be amazed at how much your life can change. Remember, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be better than you were yesterday. Every small step forward is progress. Every day you practice discipline, you're building a stronger, more capable version of yourself. The journey of building discipline is challenging, but it's also incredibly rewarding. When you develop this skill, you gain control over your life in a way that most people never experience. You stop being a victim of your circumstances and become the architect of your future. Your dreams are waiting for you. Your goals are achievable. The only question is whether you're willing to develop the discipline necessary to make them happen. Based on the fact that you've watched this entire video, I believe you are. The best time to start building discipline was yesterday. The second best time is right now. Choose one strategy from today's video and commit to practicing it for the next 30 days. Don't wait for the perfect moment or the right circumstances. Start where you are, with what you have, and begin building the disciplined life you deserve. Thank you for joining me today on this journey to understand how to build discipline. I hope these 8 strategies will serve as your roadmap to creating lasting change in your life. Remember, building discipline is not a destination. It's a daily practice that gets easier and more rewarding over time. If you found value in today's video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to Fluent English with Radio. We're here to help you improve your English while discovering powerful strategies for personal growth and success. Make sure to hit the notification bell so you never miss our latest content. We have many more motivational and educational videos coming your way. covering topics that will help you build the life you've always dreamed of. Remember, you're not alone on this journey. Our entire community at Fluent English with Radio is here to support you as you grow, learn, and become the best version of yourself. We believe in your potential, and we're committed to providing you with the tools and inspiration you need to succeed. Keep practicing your English, keep building your discipline, and most importantly, keep believing in yourself. Small steps lead to big changes, and every day is a new opportunity to move closer to your goals. Thank you for your time and attention today. Until next time, keep practicing, stay motivated, and never give up on your dreams. See you in the next video.